Hey guys, new video for Path of Exile. In this video, we're going to make a helmet for Armour Stacker. Well, actually, maybe not just for Armour Stacker, but we're going to make a gem level helmet that's going to have a lot of levels to the socketed gems, so we can boost up the auras that we're going to be putting in this helmet. I guess, this could be used on quite a lot of different builds, but for Armour Stacker, this is quite big because we have a lot of aura effect, and boosting up the gem levels of our auras is going to give quite a lot of damage and defense, so it ends up being a very nice helmet. So we're going to go over two different helmets. The one I'm crafting is having a fractured energy shield roll, you can see over here. And if you're playing a Transcendence build, then you're going to want to have a helmet that has, instead of this fractured energy shield, you're going to have a fractured physical damage taken as mod from Delve. So there is a couple of these mods. Like, you don't really need to get the Chaos one. The Chaos one is very expensive for this base, but you can buy the bases with like fire or lightning or cold, and these bases are like 20 to 50 C. Usually if you're like live searching, you can get them for that much, and if not, then maybe like one divine for the base, compared to like hundreds of divines for a base like this. If you're doing the Transcendence build, then get some of these bases and fracture them until you get the correct the Delve mod fractured. And the main difference between the two helmets we're going to make today is I can show you in Craft of Exile, so let's go over there. Alright, so here we are in Craft of Exile. So for the Transcendence build, this is sort of the helmet you're going to be crafting. Well, this is actually a sort of budget version, you could say, for the helmet. Now, there is a couple of ways to do this, and this time I think for the cheaper version, I think we're not going to go for the unveil, because I mean, it took me 17 tries to do it on my helmet, so that's quite a bit, right? That's like what, that's around like 200 divines, and every single time I was doing it, you have to like lock suffixes. It's like 250 divines or so if you're unlucky, right? Maybe if you're lucky you get it right away. But for this video, since the other parts of the craft are going to be relatively cheap-ish, I'd say, we're just going to finish it off with the crafted mod. Because, I mean, it's -1 gem level, but, for this kind of budget, it is going to be a lot easier to make. And I think, if you're on a higher budget, you probably don't really need advice from me on how to craft your helmet. Okay, so let's take a look at the mods. Starting off, we have the fractured physical damage from hits taken as cold. Right, so that's the Delve mod. We want to get this fractured on the base before we start. And then we're going to work on the suffixes with some fossils. We'll go over the fossil combination later. We're going to look for a +1 int and +2 aura. And then what we're going to do is something like we did with the Grasping Mailcraft. We're going to go with a Wild Bristle Matron. And we're going to use that, and that's going to give us the Suffixes Can't Be Changed mod. And then we're just going to go Reforge Defense till we get 2 good energy shield rolls on our helmet. Usually these bases are going to be eye level 83, so we'll only be able to get tier 2 increase, but we can get tier 1 flat. Now I think this area part here is something that you can sort of settle on if you're on a budget. You don't really need to go for tier 1, tier 2, right? If you get a decent roll, and I think decent is, this one's only 20 quality, but this would be well over 300%, 300 energy shield. 300 plus is the goal for the energy shield, but you can settle on a little bit lower if you're on a budget and save some money on that. But that's sort of the Transcendence one. The Implicits aren't on this helmet, but we'll cover that later. Okay, so let's look at the one we're going to craft today. Actually, very similar. This time, though, we are having a fractured energy shield because the build that I'm making this for is not a Transcendence build, so we don't really even need that physical damage taken as. So the difference is, instead of the physical damage taken as suffix, we're going to have a +1 strength, +1 int, +1 aura. The fossil combination is exactly the same as the other one, so that's kind of fine. The crafting method, like we said before, exactly the same. We use fossils for the suffixes. We lock the suffixes with the Wild Bristle Matron, and then we reforge defense till a good tier of energy shield, and then craft on the +1 AoE. Okay, so as for which build these helmets are for, I think a lot of different builds can use this, but in terms of Armour Stacker, the one with the Delve Fractured mod is going to be needed for the Transcendence version for Scion, or pretty much any kind of Transcendence build can use this kind of helmet. Even like, even a Jug could use it, or a Chieftain could use it to get some more Fizz damage reduction if you need it. And then let's take a look at the other one. This one is the fractured energy shield one, so it's a little bit easier to craft the prefixes. It also has +1 strength, so that means you're going to get a plus extra level to your determination or vitality if you have that in there. This one is probably going to be used more for chieftain and juggernaut builds that are not transcendence, because you don't really actually need that much physical damage taken as chaos or elemental. Usually they can kind of get away without it because you already have millions of armor, and that usually does take care of most of the fizz damage in the game. And you do get the benefit of having a +1 strength gem, which is quite nice. Okay, so that's sort of the overview of the craft. Let's get started. So before we get started, one thing to note, very important, you do get your quality all the way up to 30 quality. So if we look at the difference here, you can see 290 ES. I think this is actually going to be a bit more if you had 61, but this isn't 61. But yeah, let's just say here 290 versus the 260 roll over here, and that's because of the quality. So the quality is something you cannot change later on. Well, I guess unless you corrupt your helmet with the Beastcraft, but that's not really ideal. So I think do the quality first. Try to get as high quality as you can, and then start crafting, because you're not going to be able to change this after you start crafting. Okay, so now that we have our base ready, it's 30 quality. What we're going to do is we're going to use some 3 socket resonators, and what we're going to do is we're going to use faceted fossils, we're going to use glyphic fossils, and we're going to use corroded fossils. So this combination allows us to hit those gem modifiers as well as the +2 aura. Might not get it on the first try, it might take a couple tries, but I think usually this suffix part is pretty easy. Okay, so we got +1 strength, +2 aura. No, let's keep going. Oh man, we got Dex. Okay, so we keep going. Alright, so got some more fossils, and I think if you're doing the Transcendence helmet, this is going to be a lot easier because you only have to hit the int and the aura, but in this case we're trying to hit the strength, int, and aura, so it is going to take a little bit longer. So that's one good, I guess, upside for making the Transcendence version. Yeah, usually the Transcendence version helmets, when I'm doing the suffixes, I'm done in like under 10 of these tries, so keep that in mind. Going for this weird one that I'm making with the strength and intelligence is going to be quite a bit more costly. Alright, so we did eventually hit the strength int aura. Very nice. So now after we're done this, let's work on the prefixes. So with the prefixes, first of all, what I'm going to do is we're going to go into the menagerie. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this wild bristle matron over here. It's going to add a meta mod to our item, and it can only really add the suffixes can be changed mod. So let's go and do that. And actually, yeah, Molten Strike, not really that good for this, but anyways. So you see suffixes can be changed. So we take our item and we go over to our harvest over here, and then we reforge defense. So this is going to guarantee us some form of energy shield on the helmet. Hopefully we get some good rolls, and let's see what we get. Hey, we got a tier 2, which is actually pretty good. Now what you could do is you could do the wild bristle matron again, and you can go for the unveil if you want. For me, I'm not really going to be going for the unveil because I don't really want to spend that much on this helmet. So what we can do is craft this on. So now we have a basically, let's just see, we're only going to have strength and int gems in here. So it's going to be a +2, +3, so +4 helmet, +4 levels to the socketed gems we have in here. I guess if you do go for the unveil, it'll be a +5. And then it also has +1 int. So that means if we have enlighten in here, the level 4 enlighten, it will get turned into a level 5, which is actually the same as an awakened enlighten, which is pretty strong. It's going to give you quite a lot more mana reservation. Now, if you're making the transcendence version of the helmet, then since obviously you're not going to have this fractured energy shield, if you get one good energy shield roll, what you can do is you can then use the Eldritch Ichors, make sure that the Searing Exarch is greater, and then what you do is you craft on mana to block a mod, and then so we have our mana, so you do something like this, right? And then you Exalt Slam. And if you don't get what you want, you remove crafted mods, and then you Eldritch Annul, and make sure that it is going to be removing the prefix, so the Searing Exarch needs to be greater. And you know, if you remove the bad mod, then you craft on the mana again, Exalt Slam again, and you keep repeating until you get something good, or your annul eventually annuls off the good energy shield roll. And if that happens, well, then you just do the you go back to the harvest step with the Wild Bristle Matron and Reforged Defense. So for the implicits, what we're looking for is the physical damage taken as chaos. You could either do this or mana reservation. For me, I don't really need the mana reservation, so I'm going to go for the physical damage taken as chaos. And then for the second mod, we're going to go for the reduced mana cost of attacks. Now, I like to do it with greater. So I always start with greater, and then I just elevate my way to victory with the Orb of Conflict, because these are pretty cheap. They're only about 1 divine, even in bulk, you know, maybe 1.1, so a lot more cost efficient than buying like exceptional or grands and then doing it, because sometimes you just get unlucky and spend hundreds of these things before you hit the mod you want. So I think this is a little bit safer. Now, if you're wondering if you actually need to get the physical damage taken as chaos and if it can be lightning or fire, yeah, it can be lightning or fire or cold. It doesn't really matter, but chaos is going to give you the most benefit, because most of these builds that are doing this are CI, so it actually just removes that portion of the physical damage completely instead of shifting it. So it is a lot better to get chaos if you can. But you know, if you're on a budget or you're just tired of rolling, then you can settle on, like, you know, lightning or fire or cold. Okay, so now we do have the Fizz taken as chaos. Now we are going to need to elevate this 2 times, I believe. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply an exceptional Eldritch Ember so that the Searing Exarch is a higher tier. So that'll give us a higher chance of elevating our, what do you call it, Eater of Worlds mod. And then we use the Orb of Conflict. It didn't go up, it went down. Hopefully this doesn't remove it. Sometimes it actually does that. Okay, it didn't. Right, now we go again. So now they're both grand. So we do need to apply one more time. So now we can see that the Searing Exarch is exceptional. One more time, and it is exceptional and grand. So we'll do it one more. Now hopefully we can get it in this one. And it didn't. So we have to do one more time, but before we do that, let's go and buy some more. Alright, hopefully we get it in this one. Okay, they're both exceptional. And we did it. So now our Fizz taken as is exquisite, and it's up to 8%. So that's nice. Now all we have to do is the, let's just see real quick. We need to do Searing Exarch. So I think for this, what we're going to do is we're just going to use some graders until we hit the attack speed. Now, if you do want to get a helmet like this with a double exquisite, what you have to do is you have to elevate your Fizz taken as chaos mod one more time to perfect. And then once it's perfect, you use the exceptionals to roll the attack speed mod, or not attack speed, the reduced mana cost of attacks. and then you Orb of Conflict one more time, and you hopefully you downgrade the perfect mod, and that'll make both of them exquisite. So a little bit of a gamble, because if you miss that and it actually elevates the perfect one again, which can't happen. I mean, nothing really happens. It doesn't go past perfect, but it will downgrade your reduced mana cost of attacks mod, and that means you have to start all over again with the exceptional Ichors again until you hit an exceptional tier of the reduced mana cost, and then you just go again. But for this sake of this video, it's not really that much of a difference, so we're going to be going for the greater ones. Alright, so helmet is finished. I actually was running out of these graders, and I just used 1 grand and I ended up hitting it. So here it is, the helmet. We have +1 strength, +1 int, +2 aura, +1 AoE. We have 337 energy shield, and then we have 8 taken as fizz and 24% reduced mana cost of attacks. This helmet is pretty nice. Let's give it a quick price check, but I don't really think there is a lot of these on the market. Yeah, none listed. There is one offline for 40 divines. Let's check it out. But this is the wrong kind of base. What if we take off the... let's take off the AoE. Let's go on to the aura, strength, intelligence. Let's take a quick look. Okay, so you can see over here, we have... This one has the +2 AoE on it. And let's see what else. This one also has the unveil, which is actually quite nice. All right, so our helmet is about maybe 80-90 div ish, or maybe a little bit less, who knows. But you know, pretty decent helmet, I'd say, overall, and it works for me. And like I said, you could go for that unveil if you really want to, but I'm not really going to waste money on that because I don't really need it for this character where I'm building it for anyways. All right, so that'll be it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.